Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now it's time to finally talk Hero Academia Season 3. So this video we're going to be looking at the Season 3 opening, and I think some of the ending, and we're just going to be breaking it down. I'm a manga reader, so I'm going to be pointing out little things here and there, and I'm going to be acknowledging, I guess, any cool little quirk that's in the opening itself. And yeah, if you guys notice anything that I missed, let me know down below in the comments. And also look in the comments for some videos that I'm planning to do on the channel. I'm just gonna put them down there so you guys know what might be coming up on the channel. My schedule is a little bit iffy, so I want to give you guys an idea of what's happening. Anyway, we're almost a minute in. Let's just get into the video. Here we go, Season 3 opening. Alright, so let's get this clear from the get-go. I think this is the most impressive opening that we've gotten from Hero Academia so far, in terms of technicality. The song itself, not my favorite. I think I like the third opening song a little bit better, but the opening itself is ridiculous with how much animation is going into it. Definitely by the standards of Hero Academia openings, pretty freaking awesome. So let's just keep that in mind. I love this opening. That's just the fact of the matter. So let's just keep going. Here we go. For the record, I think this is the laziest part of the opening, and that's saying a lot because it's just, it's just showing scenes from the past, scenes that have already been done. Anyway, this is the laziest part. That says a lot for the quality of this opening. I'm only stopping here because this is the first time that they show you one of the tricks that they're going to be using in this opening. We see how the camera rotates around Izuku. That rotation trick is very common in this particular opening, and that trick in particular is one of the things that makes this really super cool because these are drawings. It's pretty cool that they're doing this, and I guess the technicality here, or the degree of technicality here, is that they need to have references for every pose as they're rotating the camera. And the fact that they're making it look consistent and smooth when they're making that rotation, awesome. Again, when it comes to technicality points here, that one is ranking pretty high. I love the camera trick. Okay, so we're about to have another rotation happening here, and again, the rotations add so much more to the scenes. This one, however, we can see that it's featuring Nana, the previous One For All, there we go, yeah, One For All user, and Young All Might. And this is pretty cool. We know it's Young All Might because check out his book bag. This, and I guess his middle school uniform. I'm guessing this is his uniform before he showed up in UA, because UA has a pretty unique uniform. But anyway, yeah, this is just the inheriting. This is just saying, hey, Nana's gonna be a big part for this season. Okay, so this right here is a very interesting shot, only because I believe this shot was taken, or it was inspired by a manga color page. So, the thing is, this one shot, it's got a quirk. The page that is very similar from the manga does not feature All Might in this state. Here is the shot from the manga. Can you see how similar it is? I think if they are playing off of this particular shot, we might get a alteration to the Season 3 opening later down the road to pay homage to this shot. But right now, when I'm looking at these two on the bench and I look back at this page, I think the connection's there. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that this shot was actually inspired from this page? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so this running sequence is pretty cool in terms of the sequences of the kids all hanging out together, just because if we look back at opening 2 had a lot of still shots when they were showing the kids standing together. This one is a full movement shot, and not only that, it's a movement shot that's constantly updating. If you look at Mineta, he's kind of looking like he's gonna fall behind, and he sees a girl show up, so he's happy. Then you have the introduction of the other girls popping in, like Suyu and Momo. Overall, pretty good way of, I guess, showcasing so far the class 1A peeps. Just it's a lot more dynamic than what we've gotten in the past. Here we have another group shot that's been present in past openings. Usually it would be the shot of the teachers, but here we can see that there's a few more heroes getting involved. So again, a callback to an old opening, but it's got a few new elements to keep you interested. We have the inclusion of Gran Torino, the Pussycats, Mount Lady. We got Edge Shot there as well, and Best Jeanist, along with Kamui Woods. We also have All Might's detective friend in this shot as well, which tells you this is going to be most likely the people who are going to be associated with that side of the plot revolving around the pro heroes. So these are the people who are going to be kind of in play for this aspect of the season. So you could look forward to it, because there's a few characters here that you may not have ever seen before. So that'll be pretty awesome. Also, special note, Endeavor was featured here, but Endeavor's a stan. He's kind of a loner, so it makes sense that he's not actually in the group shot. And here's the shot of our wonderful villains. As you can note, Shigaraki isn't there, and if you have been following the teasers, you will also see that a few other villains aren't featured. What does that say? Well, nothing super conclusive. Their choice of who they put in this sequence, you could say these are the villains that are going to have the most impact this season, but because of who they included and who they excluded in this particular shot, I think this is just a matter of just the people who look the coolest and most likely are going to have the most scenes for the season. Mind you, we're about to get a really cool sequence with Toga right after this shot, and guys, let me tell you, that sequence is amazing. It's one of the money shots for this, for sure. Okay, so when I was first watching the opening, the Toga shot is the one that just really blew me away, only because of how fluid it seemed. And so when I go into the video editor and I'm doing the breakdown, like, guys, she's moving every 2 frames, and she's having some pretty drastic movements across 2 frames. And mind you, from what I've seen whenever I'm editing anime or whenever I'm editing things for videos, the animation changes at every 2 frames, so it stays for 1 frame on screen before it changes to another frame. Anyway, Toga's sequence here works out to be pretty freaking fluid. And did you see that there was a heart that showed up halfway through this? Like, actually, look at her face. So I'm going to show you a sequence of pictures, and you'll see all the facial expressions that they put in for her. And this all happens in the span of less than 40 frames. Alright, that's pretty freaking impressive. It's one of the money shots, I think. Like, they put a lot of effort into Toga for this sequence. And it really works out. Like, the fluidity, I really like it. Okay, so this sequence is also pretty lazy, technically, but it has so much meaning that I can't help but give it the points for this, right? So for this sequence, what's really cool here, right? You have Shigaraki in a pose that's very submissive. It's a very submissive pose. You can see that there's some desperation in it. You can see that he really looks up to the guy that's on the other side of the screen. And we also see that from the screen, Shigaraki, that guy that's on the other side of the screen, is his light. It's his hope, pretty much. Also from his pose, he's very devoted to this person, and without this person, he will most likely be lost. That's, what we can get away from this whole little sequence. Now, the hand reaching across the screen, well, you could easily think what this is going to be. If you thought about it, well, it probably means that for this season, the guy across the screen is going to be overcoming the boundary, and he's going to actually be reaching out to Shigaraki. So, pretty neat. Okay, so here's where we're going to start keeping track of something. We're going to keep note of the people who are getting their quirks. They're getting like long, how would I say? They're getting a bit more attention, or they're getting a bit more screen time. We're going to start keeping track of it here. We have Bakugo so far. Alright, so next we have Ida. And following that, we have Kirishima. I'm just stopping it here to appreciate how badass the timing for the dreaming part was, and how badass that idea of All Might crashing into a city is. This is just a pretty cool sequence. So if you take note, you'll notice that Shigaraki doesn't have any of his arms holding onto his body. But if you look at the Nomus in the background, you see that one of the things that's really being drawn to them, one of the things that are really prominent or pronounced about them are their arms. So pretty cool idea here. You take away the hands from the guy who made having hands all over him his identity, and then you have just hands flailing around behind him, and you play into the Nomu angle here because, as we know, Shigaraki has the Nomus. Alright, so pretty cool stuff, and it is a pretty nice subtle foreshadowing of what Shigaraki has up his sleeves. We can also take a note of Shigaraki's overall confident demeanor, and this could just be explained as the confidence that he has in the Nomus that are being provided for him. Like, he is pretty sure that the resources he's being afforded are going to be helpful to him. And I mean, really, when you have so many Nomus behind you, it's like, yeah, it makes sense that you'd feel unstoppable. Okay, so I'm stopping it here and I'm putting it a few frames back because the animation actually had a fade out. And so this is interesting just because what they're pretty much saying here, or you know how I interpret it, the guy who stands behind Shigaraki and the Nomus, all for one, right? So that's pretty cool. And it also explains Shigaraki's overwhelming confidence with his strut in the previous sequence. So pretty cool use of a fade in or a fade out, and I'm totally into it. So note here, Dark Shadow is the first to erupt out of this next children's sequence. If you've seen the teasers, you know Dark Shadow and Tokoyami are going to have a pretty cool scene, but them showing this part here, it's kind of telling you like how they're dividing up the screen time for some of the characters for this opening. Alright, so for this next sequence, here we go. Okay, so for this part, we're just gonna like look back at the shots that we had here showing up for the sequence. So first off, let's appreciate the shot of all the classmates, or the majority of the classmates. There is a note here. They haven't done the hardcore character showcase. Like, you know, in the previous openings, you had the little sequences where they showed all the characters in their own little shot where they're getting ready or whatever. They're not doing that here. Instead, they're picking and choosing who they're showcasing. That's like an interesting little note to keep in mind when we go into the rest of the 13 episodes for the first half of this season 3. One thing though, if you look at the class shot, there is a funny little detail here in that Seiro is grabbing onto Anima and grabbing onto, I think, Ojiro, who is grabbing onto Sugarman or Saito. So that's just a pretty cool little detail. I found it really funny. Another thing that we have to take into account for this little segment is there's two characters who get a little bit more attention than the others, those being Momo. She has a close up to the camera shot, and also Ochako. Ochako's the main character, so obviously she's going to get a bit of a bit of an extended shot, but she also has it here. Keep that in mind, however, because again, these characters are the ones that are getting attention. And speaking of attention, we also had Todoroki, who has his full Quirk showcase. Very important. And then we've ended off with like Izuku like powering up, like whatever Izuku. Like Izuku spent this whole time just powering up, so it's whatever. Best Flex 2018. But no, in all seriousness, that was a pretty cool little sequence for Muscular here, and you can figure out his quirk. So if there's any anime only viewers down there, if you want to try and guess what his quirk is after seeing it in this panel, you know, go for it. And for any manga viewers, come on guys, don't manga readers, don't spoil it. Just let the anime onlys try and make their guesses. Look man, if you need someone to tell you how awesome the intensity of this shot is, like I can't help you. Okay, so this sequence right here was just calling back to what we had established earlier in the opening with all the different heroes that were joining the UA teacher team. And here I just have a shot of Ed's shot. Suffice to say, like, these people are going to be seeing action, and we get the confirmation here in the opening. And finally, the last shot, Izuku and All Might looking off into the distance. Now, as I understand it, the previous openings, they have been showing the progression between Izuku and All Might. You know, we start with Izuku chasing after All Might, I believe. The third opening had Izuku and All Might joining hands to work together. And now we have Izuku and All Might pretty much standing as teacher and student. All Might with its bigger statue and Izuku being smaller already kind of leads to that kind of idea of them being a teacher-student pair, and then them looking off in the distance together just says like how much they're going to be facing their challenges together, kind of. You know, having Izuku also stand up in the sequence just kind of tells you that he no longer needs to hold on to All Might. Like Izuku can stand for himself, or he can stand up for himself. So I think that's a pretty nice little image that we end off with here. One of the final notes that I have for the opening, though, one thing you can see is they have limited down how much showcase the 1A students get. Now the students that are getting attention are the students that you can say are the main characters or are going to be prominent in the season. For instance, in this showcase, for this opening, we had these students showcased. Izuku, obviously, but then we had Todoroki, we had Bakugo, we had Kirishima, we had Ida, and then to a lower degree, we had the girls Momo, Ochako, and then maybe Suyu, depending on how you want to interpret her jumping into the frame like this. It's just very telling of where Hero Academia is going for this season, and I find it to be a very interesting choice when it came to letting go of, I guess, a tradition that was established with the last couple of openings. Anyway, yeah, and that's pretty much it for the walkthrough for this opening of Hero Academia Season 3. Pretty cool stuff overall. I really love this opening. The ending, I just had a few notes here. The ending, they kind of did something that I think recreators did the past season as well. They just showed shots, just the rough shots of previous scenes in Hero Academia. I thought that was neat. I like it. It's one of those things that just brings the fans closer to the animation studio. Makes you feel a little bit more of the effort that they put into this. The ending has a pretty cool quirk in that it's kind of playing off of it being a manga. The ending also gives a few more shots of Aizawa in a suit, and we also get to see Casual Midnight. Pretty cool stuff. Will it have any meaning for the season? Oh, who knows? But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. That's the video for me. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, I hope you have a great day.